always keep an open mind. You're always looking, right? If I didn't have that open mind or always looking or be open to listening to intelligent people, I would have missed Hex, right? I would have missed out on my third opportunity of life-changing wealth. So like you have to always stay open. Now, and this is a little bit probably be a little bit of a controversial take, but like as much as I think Pulse Chain and PulseX is going to absolutely crush and kill and be amazing, it doesn't exist yet and it's not proven, right? Like it could fail, it could be a bust, it could not see all these crazy gains people are predicting, like, or maybe it takes longer than what people are thinking, but like it still doesn't exist yet, it's not proven. And to me, like Hex is going to be here for the test of time, and it has features that are going to make it last for the test of time. Pulse Chain and PulseX still have to earn their merits. The pumpamentals, the tokenomics, everything in place makes sense, and it's going to be amazing. Like, but you still need market adoption. You still need investors. You still need everything to come in place. And like we will see when it launches, we'll see what it does. I think it's going to do absolutely amazing. But again, it hasn't earned its stripes, right? Hex has earned its stripes. So to me, it's just the no-brainer play
What
as of
what
today.
is what is your personal take on PulseX versus PulseChain?
PulseX wins.
That's
So
hey, that's where I was leading to.
yep,
But I
I'll tell you why.
was please.
I'll tell you why. So, and by wins, right? It's all relative. I think honestly, over time, they're all going to do phenomenal. Where you're really just counting peanuts. It doesn't really matter. They're going to do hundreds, thousands of X would be my guess. I think PulseX goes just rips harder and faster than pretty much maybe everything in the Richard Hart ecosystem. It's going to be interesting to watch. Now, I think the consensus, and I'm probably one of the most embedded people in the community. Like I'm usually my fingers usually on the pulse of like, and no pun intended, on the community's pulse, because like this is all I do. Like I've retired. I focus on this ecosystem. Focus on crypto. Me and some friends made a company. Like this is all we do, 24/7. This is what I love. And so I think the common consensus now is we had the pulse chain sacrifice. There was a couple factors that went into that. Not many of us knew much about a bonding curve, how it worked, or anything like that. So there was a couple factors. One, a lot of people just didn't know about the pulse chain sacrifice, so they didn't get in. They didn't know about it. They were late to the show. They didn't get in. Okay, cool. You have that. Two, the people that were around, bonding curve, sacrifice phase. Again, kind of speaking back to Richard Hart's brilliance, a token launching like this has never really been done before. And it was to get around security laws and all this stuff with the political statements and everything like that. And it never been done before. So we were learning a bonding curve, 5% compounding. Here's your flat rates at the end. So we're playing with stuff, right? And so once the sacrifice phase ended, and then we got told the news like, hey, there's going to be another sacrifice for PulseX. It's going to be the decentralized exchange. It's going to be a fork of Uniswap. It's going to have all these cool features. Da 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 da. Cool. So now what do you have? You have a community that's armed with the knowledge of a sacrifice phase. They understand how a bonding curve works. The people that were in all of a sudden feel like, oh, I don't think I invested enough in Pulse Chain, right? It's just is what it is. We always want more, regardless of how much you sacrifice. You could be the top whale and still like I could use more, right? Like you always want more. It's just human nature. So you have the people that were in that want more. You have the new people that learned about PulseX and heard about Pulse Chain and see the what Hex has done, and are like, okay, cool, I'm going balls out. Like PulseX is my chance to make it. So they dump a shit ton of money into PulseX, maybe even more than they should, right? But they put a bunch of money in PulseX, and then their thought process is, cool, I'll have a giant bag of PulseX. It's still going to run really well. I can exchange it day one. I don't even have to wait for the bridge to come up. I can exchange it for Pulse Chain. I can get my allocation of Pulse Chain. I'll have a giant bag of PulseX, and then they'll have their Hex that they got in the copy beforehand. So you see it in the community right now. It's just like, I'm going to trade. I have a larger bag of Pulse. Most people have a larger bag of PulseX than they have Pulse Chain, or they don't have Pulse Chain altogether. They're going to make that initial swap. Now you have awesome people in the community like K4K that realize how, and I 100% agree with them, that PulseX is probably going to rip faster. But I think what we see, mainnet launches, I think you're going to see the ratio swing and essentially Pulse Chain's favor, where it's going to cost multiple PulseX to get one Pulse Chain. And you're going to see that. So you're going to see essentially an initial dump of PulseX for Pulse Chain because people are going to rebalance their portfolios, which what they think is the right amount of pulse chain. Either they missed it or they don't think they invested enough in it. Now, after that, I think you just see PulseX go on a tear, and this is why. PulseX has, in my opinion, just better tokenomics as far as causing the price to pump. So with Pulse Chain, you have deflationary, right? All the coins that are minted, that's going to be all the coins that exist. Every time someone's doing a transaction, there's going to be a fee. It's paid to the validators, and then I think 25% is burned. Okay, so you're getting 25% of the fees burned. It's going to continue to deflate. People are going to buy it to speculate on new blockchain. Layer ones are really popular right now. Based on past history, though, blockchains, when they first come out, they're a little bit slower movers than other stuff, right? Like they eventually do crazy hundreds of X, thousands of X, but it takes them, you kind of a 1 to 2 year kind of feeling out process where they start to ramp up. And again, that just comes with adoption, more people coming on, building, etc. Now, with PulseX, it just makes sense to me that it goes on a tear faster, earlier than Pulse Chain, because you have deflationary, just like Pulse Chain. So amount of coins that are minted, that's all that's going to exist. Now it's the premier exchange, right? The AMM bot's going to go around. It's gonna harvest all the from Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap. It's going to be the premier chain. All the liquidity is on PulseX. So to me, PulseX is the heart of Pulse Chain. All roads, all the arteries, everything leads back to PulseX. So all the transactions, everything goes through it. I believe it is 21 or 22% of the fees that go through PulseX go to a buy and burn function. So it's going to buy up its own tokens. So it's got a constant buy pressure and then burns them deflationary. So you get the same deflationary effect of Pulse Chain except faster. And then you add the buy function onto it, which is just massive. Constant buy pressure is huge. Then you have single-sided staking, which is also absolutely amazing. And this is where I think it also beats out Pulse Chain, and people don't realize this. Unless you have billions of Pulse tokens, delegating to a validator is not going to pay very well in the beginning. Because again, new blockchain, yes, you're copying over the system state, but the more people, more adoption that comes over, then it'll start paying more and more fees. But early on, you're going to get teeny amounts of pulse for delegating your Pulse Chain. It's just not going to be the passive income that people think it's going to be. It's going to be much smaller, I think, initially. And people are going to be disappointed, right? So they're going to be looking for other forms of yield. So PulseX provides that in single-sided staking. A lot of people don't know about liquidity farming and impermanent loss. It's a slightly more advanced topic for crypto. So single-sided staking gives them the set it and forget it method that we all love with Hex. So you just stake it. There is no permanent loss. You get third-party tokens dropped to you for free. Dump the hell out of them. Keep them. They run up on a 10x, 100x. Then you dump them, sell them for what you want. Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX, you name it. But no jeopardy to you losing your coins due to a permanent loss. So already that's huge over delegation, in my opinion.
Any talk on incentive token game theory yet, or is that locked?
No, I've tried.
I've tried to
ask Richard like 3 or 4. I've spammed his stuff up a couple times, trying to ask if he's gone into it. So there is a Pulse Plan theory chat that there's like, I don't know, like 80 of us in, and I usually just a fly on the wall because there's a lot of smart people in there, and I haven't been in there a while. I need to go sift through it and see if they've been talking about the incentive token. They should be, because that's about the last thing we have to hammer out. Everything else is pretty much done.
There's a lot of game theory on that though, for people that want to do. If there's incentive on that, it could change a lot.